Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. It's time for some stunning title designs in Adobe Premiere Pro. All right, so let's get this out of the way. After Effects is king for motion graphics. We all know that. But hands up anyone who has trouble with After Effects. I better see everybody's hand up. Yeah, me too. I have a love-hate relationship for After Effects. I love what it can do, but anytime it's more than the simplest thing, I end up screaming at it and I want to run back to Premiere Pro. So I wanted to show you how if you add effects to the graphic titles inside Premiere Pro, you can do a lot of things. Let me just show you what I've got cooked up and then we'll break it all apart. So you see we've got some interesting looking type with things you don't normally see, like gradients on type and patterns inside type and some highlight edges there. You can see a little bit of that cyan edge in there. And something that looks pseudo 3D. Textures inside type. And glitchy type. Oh yeah, this is all in Premiere Pro. No After Effects was used at all with this. And that offset type look that's really popular, looks cool. Video inside a title. Just glowing stroke title. Distorted titles. And titles that use masks. All right. So let me break this down. So the first one, I actually have several. Let me start right at the beginning. With this title, and all of the fonts that I'm using are part of your Adobe Creative Cloud account. So I am going to make this project available so you can open it up and have all these titles for free. My gift for you. Okay, so I've got Color Emboss here, but I don't have it on right now. So I have the regular type and an alpha glow on here, which you might want to use the glow, or you could use the you can use the shadow, which I'll show you in just a sec, but that gives a certain kind of look to that title. Now the next one is the same title, but with Color Emboss turned on. And you can see Color Emboss has got this edgy kind of effect in here, and you can really get radical. So here you can change the overall direction of that, how far it's coming off the title, so you can make it very subtle to very, very bold. And then the overall contrast. Now this one actually has roughen edges on it. Oops, where are we here? And what I'm doing is I'm roughening the edges. So I've got keyframes here for how much the border property changes. So the type actually emerges out of nowhere. And I've got a couple of versions of this. With this one, you can see some of the type already in there as it's emerging. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So you can see a little bit of the type coming through. And in the next one, is this the same one? Yeah. So the next one, you can actually see the emboss is happening on the actual shapes. And that happens when you change the order of these effects. So that right now the emboss is happening first and then the roughen edges. So this emboss gets on the roughen edges, but it makes the letters rough and they're unreadable until the very end. Now this next one uses a lens flare inside the type. So I'm changing the lens flare center. That's that property right there. And you could animate this along. And then the type itself has a fill and a stroke. Next up is type that has a stroke and a gradient fill. In fact, there are 4 gradients on here. And what I'm doing for this is I'm using the 4 gradient effect. So I've got 4 different colors. And when you click on each one of these points, so I've got a second point in here. Third point and fourth point to give this gradient. Now, to make this work, I've got it in a group, and you make a group by grabbing this, clicking on this button here. So the type, if I turn the bottom stroke off, you get the type inside in the group. And then there's a duplicate of the type on the outside with just the stroke on it that you can see. So there are 2 separate things, but they look like one thing. And if you want, you could select both of these and change its position. You do have to type them separate as long as they're in the same place, but you'd have to type the word twice. But now you've got a gradient inside and a stroke on the outside, which you cannot get normally. Okay, next up. This effect that has this pattern inside, and the pattern is the cell pattern. And I also have a tint on here. So when you don't have the cell pattern, you can see the cell pattern here. It's just this effect of what the cell looks like. So I've got a pillow effect, but it's black and white. So when I add a green tint on top of that, and then I thought I like that lens flare so much, now I've got the lens flare and the pattern inside. And I had to duplicate that again, just to get that little edge, that little bit of a stroke on the outside. All right. Next one, birds of prey. So I've got a ramp, and a ramp is a gradient. Instead of a 4-point gradient, it's just a 2-point gradient. And again, I had to do the same thing. I had to put that in a group and then add the stroke later. Now, I want to zoom in and show you this little edge in here, that little cyan edge. That's actually the shadow, and it's offset here by 2. The rest of these are stacked up. So typically a drop shadow is offset and blurry and black, but you can use this for any other kinds of effects if you change the position back almost on top of it. I'll show you this in a glow in a second. So the stroke, if I turn the group off, there's the stroke and that little edge happening right here. And I like that so much that I did that over here. Without the gradient, this is all just text. To me, this looked more like a branding. You can see that cyan edge lit up. And this has no fill. So if you turn the fill off, you're just getting a stroke. All right, next up. What I wanted to do was emulate a 3-dimensional extrude. And for that, I'm using a typeface called Rig Shaded. And it comes with 2 different versions, bold and bold extrude. Actually, if you look at this typeface on fonts.adobe.com, there's a whole bunch of different weights, and there's compressed or condensed, so that the designer built this for you to take 2 of them and construct this. So if I turn the back off, you can see this is just the text with a stroke on it. If I turn the back on by itself, you can see just the extrude that's going on. So you just place one over top of another to get this look. Very cool. Next up, I wanted to put a texture inside the type. So for this one, I had to create a group, and for that gold outline, I duplicated the the type and put that gold stroke on it. And for the inside, I'm using, again, a tint, and I'm using fractal noise. And your first thought is, wait a minute, fractal noise, isn't that only in After Effects? No, it's in here, but it's in the VR effects. So I thought, why am I restricted to using the VR effects in virtual reality video clips? I'm not, baby. So here's fractal noise, and I just changed these settings to give this kind of a, let me turn tint off to show you what's going on. That kind of an effect. And then the tint was just this dark blue on top of it. And now I've got this effect going on. All right. Next one is this glitchy one. Let's go deep inside to look at this. So you can see it's offset and it's glitchy, and then it's kind of flipping back and forth. So what did I use for this one? I used VR digital glitch. And you've got so many controls over here, like the overall amplitude, so how far off this is set. The distortion, so you can change the overall distortion and the complexity and the evolution, and all of these digital effects, grungy effects. And then the other thing that you'll see often in the VR effects, which I just turned this up, and that's the scale of where this is happening. So these are made to be placed in VR clips, which are themselves already stretched. So I like to turn things like the POI scale up so that it influences the whole type. So lots of cool ways to work. And then I just added keyframes for the master amplitude, and then the distortion rate so that it would pop off. So why not, right? So now you've got this distorted title. So this one uses another VR effect, chromatic aberration, and that offsets this. And what's interesting about this is the red, the green, and the blue are offset here. So if they're all the same, then you don't see the effect. And you have to do it subtly because it's a VR effect, so it's starting to bulge up. So you leave the distortion to a small amount. And then there's the fall off distance, which you could animate too. So you can see it's only in the center here. So if you changed the position of this, the distortion would be following that. So that's another way to work with this. But I think it's a pretty cool effect. And then this is video inside type. So Adobe added this fairly recently, that when you have a graphic shape, you can mask it with the text. So there's a video layer in here, and the text is above it. So that's this. And I've got a Lumetri effect to darken that on there. So that is all a text layer, and the video is inside that text. Okay. Next, this is really simple. It's one layer. It uses no fill, so the fill is turned off, stroke of white, and this is the shadow where the opacity is creating that glow effect. And this is how far that glow comes out and how blurry that glow is. So this one's really easy, but effective. It's got that blurring type effect. All right, so for this one, I wanted to emulate the distortion that you see in some title designs. And for that, I used a big old sphere eyes. So when I turn that off, that's the default text. And the sphere eyes just has a big old radius amount that I'm setting on there. And I set it to almost 700 pixels to give me that kind of a look. Pretty simple. And the last one is again using masks. And for this one, I'm using type with two shapes. So if I turn these shapes off as masks, they're just two shapes that I drew, and I'm using those as a mask. So once you select mask with shape and invert, if I don't invert it, then it looks like that. Click on the next one, mask and invert. And these are shapes that you could freely move around, and they cut a hole out of that. In fact, you could duplicate this, copy and paste another one, and I just flip the other one around, so you could add as many of these as you want. So any shape, you can actually have type on type and type affecting it. These can move, they can be animated, do whatever you want. So I want you to be a little bit courageous and not have to settle with just boring titles inside Premiere Pro. Jump into the effects, steal some of those VR effects that we're not supposed to use that we can use, because we can do whatever we want. It's up to us on how we want to do it. I think this demonstrates to you how you can really spice up titles with just a couple effects and add things that you don't normally see in Premiere Pro. Some of these are accelerated, some aren't. They're going to render out fine on the other side. So I said I'm going to give you this project. How do you get this project? Well, you can go to VideoRevealed.com/shop. I'll stick it in the free listings there of all of our other free things on the shop. This will be a 2020 project only, so don't try to open this in an old version of Premiere Pro. It ain't gonna work. It will turn on all the same fonts that I used inside there. So there you go. Hey, if you're new to Video Revealed and you have found something like this informative, take a moment and subscribe. Really do appreciate it. And if you want to support us some more while you're over at VideoRevealed.com on the shop, you can donate once or monthly, any amount you want. You want to give us a little thank you for creating these titles for you, we really do appreciate it. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to give you way more tools that you think you have inside Premiere Pro and make your titles look stunning.